it's Hope at Crafty Hope, and I am working on ICAD 2019 cards 19, 20, and 21. And ICAD is a challenge put up by Tammy of Daisy Yellow. I'll have all the information about it in the description box below, but feel free to ask me any questions if you want. The challenge runs through the end of July. Now, each day Tammy offers prompts, and each week she has themes. I tend to try to just go with the prompts if I can and not worry with the themes. And if the prompt doesn't inspire me, I just don't even bother with it. So, card 19 that you see I'm working on here is the theme was yellow, and I had gathered a couple of little yellow flowers here, and I glued those together with it's a little Tim Holtz rhinestone thing that I colored yellow with some alcohol ink. And for my card, I'm using a 4x6 index card that I covered just with some dictionary paper that I had. I'm kind of just like to have something in the background on top of that plain old white card. So I glued that down, and then I've got these Liquitex heavy body paints I picked up at Hobby Lobby on clearance, and I'm really wishing I had picked up more. So, and I wanted to play with them, so I thought, hey, I got a yellow and some other colors, so I will throw them on this card. And here is where I really found I liked it. You see how that green just blended straight into that yellow? Oh my gosh, that's so yummy. So I threw on the other two colors I have, which is like a teal and then a light blue. And I'm putting, the yellow I put down with my finger, and then the others I'm just spreading out with a little brayer that I've got just to give kind of some sporadic color on the card. And it kind of works. The theme is yellow, but I knew that I couldn't do a whole yellow card. That would be virtually impossible for me. So I decided, just have a little yellow in the background, and then that yellow flower stack thing I've got going on. Now there I pulled out a stack of some fabrics and papers and rickrack and stuff that I had sewn together one day when I had the sewing machine out. And I picked one of those out before I pulled out my hand carved stamps. Now I use these all the time. Eventually I hope to have a video showing y'all all of my hand carved stamps, but I can't seem to get that video edited the way I want it to. So I threw just one of my hand carved stamps down kind of randomly with a little bit of just black ink. And then I've got these Tim Holtz sentiment stickers. I can't remember what they're called. And this is, I think, what holds me up the most on this card is trying to find a phrase that I like to go with this card. The one I ended up choosing, man, my words, is called, it says glittering in the sun, which I thought was perfect for this card because the sun's yellow and sunshiny yellow, and sorry for that beep. And I thought that was absolutely perfect. So that's what I end up choosing. And so I'm just going to use some matte gel medium to glue down my little stack of papers and thread and all that. And I'm also gluing the thread off to the side just to add another little texture dimension to it. And I used Aleene's tacky glue to glue that little stack together, and so that's what I used to glue down the stack to that card. And I stuck down the sticker right on the fabric and used a Stabilo all pencil. Now it's an all pencil because it writes on all things. So I drew around my little sticker right on that fabric with it and darkened it up with just a water brush. And then I'm using the Stabilo again to go around the outside of the card to frame it up. And again, I'll pull out that water brush and get that going just to, frame it up and grunge it up a little, make it pretty. So I really like this card. And like I said, it came together really quick. I was just kind of held up by trying to find a sentiment. So here's a quick look at it. Now I'm going to start on card 20, and the prompt for it was vitrina, which apparently means display case. And y'all, I had no idea. I thought on this for a while and finally decided that I was going to do something a little different. I decided I was going to do like a butterfly display case. So I wanted it to be like hanging on a wall. So I picked out some scrapbook paper that kind of looked like it might be wallpaper. So it's just kind of a stripy whatever that I thought, okay, well, that could be like wallpaper like. So the big thing is I'm working on this piece of cardstock. Now this is just kind of, I don't know, like a aged yellowed looking piece of cardstock that I'm going to cut down to size. And once I cut it down, I decide to, I don't know, cut out or at least trace that card onto another piece, and that ends up working out really well for me in the end because what I first tried to do here doesn't, I don't know, I didn't stamp it the way I wanted to stamp it and had to start over again. So we're going to skip some of that here in a little bit. But you see, I've got all these butterfly stamps of different sizes and all of that I've decided are going to be my butterflies in my display case. So I'm laying them out, and I know that I'm going to use my, oh my gosh, what's that called? It's a stamp platform, and I've just got the little Tim Holtz travel one that I'm going to use here in a minute. And one of them I know won't go into the stamp platform because it's kind of got a big old foam base, and that's this one that I'm putting down here. So you see me stamping that on there. And I'm just using Distress Oxides for most of the coloring for this stamp. So here's where I pull out the display case, and here's where I'm switching over because I messed up and it wasn't exactly what I wanted. So I'm doing it again. So here's me stamping that again, and I realized I didn't like it sideways. All the other butterflies were up and down, so I turned that so that that butterfly was up and down like the rest. And then I'm going to go into my stamping platform, and I love using the stamping platform when I want something so exact. This is kind of the perfect example of how to use it. So I've got it on, I've got these two on there that I'm just doing with some black stays on because I know I'm going to color those in. And those are, since they're rubber mounted, they had to be on one side of the I don't know, that front case thing. And then these other three are the like the clear ones. And since they're thinner, you see here, I'll flip over that front thing to stamp it. And those I decide I'm just going to put them, since they're so small, and that's where I messed up on the other one. I had done them in black and realized I couldn't get the colors in them. So I just did those straight with the Distress Oxides in a couple different colors because I wanted all my butterflies to be different colors. And then I've got two there that are smaller than the others. And so they're gonna have multiples of them. They'll be like, I don't know, little copies of each other. So, and I'm just using, and like I said, I don't use this stamp platform much, but it works perfect for little things like this. Once I get this done, the rest of it moves pretty quickly, but I did cut out that part where I'd messed up because y'all didn't need to see me do that twice, and the first time being a mess up. So I've got that, and I'm taking the Distress Oxide, those two that I did with the stays on, and I'm just going to take a wet paintbrush and that Distress Oxide and color in those. Now, y'all, these turn out so vibrant, the ones I color in this way. I'm really excited about that. I'm going to have to use that more. I have to keep that in mind. So that I get all of these all colored and pretty, and then I'm going to just trim down, and you'll see in a second, I'm going to trim down that card so that, because it's not centered exactly, so I trim it so that everything's a little more centered, like it would be in a display case. If you've seen butterfly displays like that, they're always so perfectly done. So there's my little display, and I'm figuring out where I want it on my card. And I've got some washi tape there that I'm going to use as my frame. So I picked out, it's just kind of a brown one with just some decorative accents on it. But first, instead of just using the washi tape to stick it down, I did use my Uhu glue stick to stick down my butterflies. And I'm just going to frame up that bit of my butterflies with the washi tape. Like I said, it's decorative, kind of like a, you would find a frame, you know, just kind of a, I don't know, a cut frame. And once I get all that done, you see I leave excess on the sides, and that's so that I can trim it down a little bit more exactly when yeah, you can see me trimming it there so that it's squared up a little bit, but I do leave the one across the top open so that, I don't know, for me it seemed like that's how it would hang. I don't know. It probably doesn't make any sense, but when I was doing it, it made complete sense. And I've got a Stabilo All Pencil in Brown that I am using to just add some shadow from behind the frame so that it looks like it's coming up off the wall, so that's not like a part of the wall. And then I ink up the whole outside of my card, and that's it, guys. Super easy. It took a little time because I did have to work. Oh, that wasn't it. I took a pencil and went around each of the butterflies, just as a thin, basic mechanical pencil, so that each of the butterflies would have a little bit of a shadow too, so that it looks like they're kind of popped up off the I don't know, the surface that they're on. So, and then that's it for this card. That was card 20. So the last card in this series is card 21, and the prompt for it was guitar. Now, I don't know why I had such a mental block with this. My husband plays guitar. That's actually how we met. He joined a friend of mine's band, and I met him when he became the new guitar player in that band. And we've got guitars all over this house. I really should have found some way to be more inspired by this prompt, but I was at a loss. So I had a general idea, and I started this card the way I like to start a lot of cards, and that's just gluing down a bunch of papers. And that's all I'm doing, using my Oohoo glue stick. I just want a little bit of texture in the background, because what I'm trying to do is basically like the face of a guitar, like zoomed in real close right at that. Well, I can't think of what it's called. My husband will shame me, but it's the circle opening. I can't think what it's called. Oh my goodness! If you know, tell me so that I'm not so embarrassed. Um, but just a close up of that with the strings, and I just use a can that's sitting on my desk to make the circle in the center for that opening. And I've got just some straw colored acrylic craft paint that I'm going to paint around the outside to give it that like yellowy wood hue that a lot of like acoustic guitars have, because again, I'm doing an acoustic guitar, but that does have the big hole in it. So, and I'm just going around this. Now, y'all, I told you I can't remember what the name of that hole is. Well, I have something even more embarrassing at the end of this video. Like I said, I should know more about guitars. I can tell you what some of my favorite brands are, but I don't know. Yeah, my husband got all that knowledge. So, I painted the outside of that real quick. I did try to scrape off some of that so that some of the texture in the background would come through, kind of like the wood grain in a guitar. And then I'm just going to paint that center circle completely black so that, it has that hollow feeling-ish. And once I get it painted, I'm going to go around the outside of that circle with a Posca paint pen in black, just to even up the roundness of this circle. See, super simple. Painted that in. Like I said, I'm just going to go around it here in a second. I'll pull out my Posca paint pen and I get my can just to line it back up so that I can make that as even as possible. Of course, the paint's not completely dry, so I had some problems and decided, well, shoot, I'll just do it freehand, which isn't always the best method for me. As you see, I'm just I don't know, making my pen all gunky. So I dried it real quick before I went on to the next step to try to make the process go a little smoother from here on out. From there, I knew I wanted something a little bit larger, because I wanted, like, there's usually like a decorative outer inlay of something on a guitar, and so I found just this bin that was on my desk and went around it with a brown Posca paint pen, and I did not get it centered well. I should have used a compass or something to draw a line, but I didn't. So it's art. It's not perfect. And to make the strings for the guitar, I am using what is that? It is a Sharpie paint pen in silver. So, because I wanted it to kind of just look like guitar strings. Now, this is where my embarrassing comes up. When I did this, for some reason, I decided to put 5 strings on it. I know guitars have 6 strings. I don't know what I was thinking. So I made this card, and then here in a second, you see I show it to you. I thought I was done. I go around the outside of my line here to thicken up that brown a little bit, that decorative part. And when I went and showed it to my husband, he was like, why does that guitar only have 5 strings? And I was like, oh my gosh, you were so right. So I had to come back here in a minute and add a 6th string. So yeah, I did ink up the outside of it to just frame it up. And there, I thought I was done. And nope. I don't even know what I was doing there. But yeah, here's me coming back and adding the final string. So I don't know what was in my head. So, and that was it. Super simple guitar one. I wish I'd been more inspired, but it works. It looks like a guitar. And I hope you like these. Please give me a thumbs up if you do, and make sure to subscribe so you can see what else is going on around the Crafty Hope world. Now, thank you so much for watching.